Welcome to Green Disruptors, the podcast where we talk to the innovators reshaping our energy future. Today, I'm joined by Chris Gray, CEO of EcoSmart Solution, a company pioneering turnkey energy solutions that make sustainability scalable and accessible for real estate developers and property owners. From geothermal systems and new developments to deep energy retrofits and multifamily buildings, EcoSmart is redefining how we think about efficiency and affordability in the built environment. Chris brings a fascinating background, starting as an HVAC technician, earning a PhD in sustainability, and now leading a company bridging engineering, construction, and finance to deliver real impact. Hi, Chris. Welcome to Green Disruptors.
Thank you so much, Megan. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So tell us, first of all, where in the world you are.
I am in Atlanta, Georgia.
Are you from there? Or are you here because of business?
You know, I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama, but Atlanta is an extremely convenient place to fly in and out of around the world directly. So from a business standpoint, it's extremely convenient. And I met my wife here, so it is home.
That's awesome. And it probably has similar vibes. It's part of the South at least. So that's cool. So help us get to know you a little better. Tell us about your personal background and how that is collided with business.
Yeah, I am a nerd by education, background, interest, everything.
Hooray for nerds.
I have been interested in energy and energy efficiency and buildings really for decades now. So I started my career as a HVAC technician. So I was a mechanical contractor before going to engineering school. I went to mechanical engineering school for an undergrad, and really just clicked with all of the thermal systems and energy efficiency, energy transfer. So I started my career working for Southern Company, an electric and gas utility holding company, headquartered out of Atlanta, and was working in a research and development arm focused on developing heat pump technologies, new energy efficient technologies for our customers, and continued my education through a master's and did a PhD in civil engineering, really focused on sustainability and scaling sustainability in construction. And that was really, really interesting, a way to really understand what it takes to really create technology and develop technology, which gave me an interest in commercialization and really understanding how you scale efficiency, right? How you work with the industry to scale adoption of new technology. So I left the research and development arm to really start exploring and went into the operation side of a utility, interfacing with customers, implementing new customer programs, looking at tariff analysis, and that led me to a number of customer management roles and really understanding all different levels of customers, and eventually rolled to a venture capital role looking at energy disruptors of the energy industry and startups, and figuring out how I could learn from them, they could learn from me, and that got me introduced to the founders of my current company. And I went to the real estate world after leaving the utility. So I started up a building retrofit company within a private equity real estate firm, and then merged that company with EcoSmart Solution, which I currently run as CEO. And our goal at EcoSmart Solution is to scale energy efficiency and make it accessible and affordable for all. So we work directly with real estate owners and developers to implement energy efficient solutions, really focused on mass adoption and mass scalability.
So the way that you described that whole journey sounded like a perfect job interview for why you're the perfect candidate for what you're doing now. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So going all the way back to, your PhD and your early schooling, what conceptually did people get wrong when they're trying to scale these sustainability solutions?
My belief, and I think this is where a lot of new technologies go wrong, is it's got to be simple, right? Everyone
Mm,
has to really be able to either connect with it very quickly, or it's got to be simple for people to adopt. So in our business, we implement turnkey solutions, whether it be on the new construction side or in the existing building side. We work with a developer or building owner to start from the engineering concept through the design, through the construction and implementation, the financing, and the ownership to an offer and turnkey model. And obviously, we can step in and we can participate any step along the way, but the real solution that we bring is a end-to-end package turnkey solution. And I've seen over the years technologies be very efficient, very impactful, but they are so difficult to implement because they might involve too many trades.
yeah.
I recall early in my career working with heat pump water heaters. So this is an air conditioning unit strapped to the top of a water heater. It pulls heat out of the air, it heats water. Wonderful technology, but the early manufacturers assumed that a plumber would install it, and if anything failed, the HVAC contractor would come out and fix it. Just really poor implementation because your HVAC contractor says a plumbing device, that's a water heater. I don't touch those. The plumber says I don't know how to handle this refrigeration system on top of this unit. So you had a mix of trades, and it wasn't easy to adopt.
And I imagine too, from a messaging standpoint, it's hard to get people to understand and buy into what the solution is.
It's often very difficult to communicate properly, especially when you have multiple parties and multiple players
Hmm.
involved. It's sometimes difficult to get the message consistent and the message easy to understand for that particular party because the way that I work with a real estate underwriter is very different than the way I work with a tenant at a multifamily property and helping them understand what's going on. So when you're dealing with people who are managing the technology or managing a property, you have to go through a different level of training than someone who's just using the technology. So you have to
Totally.
adapt that communication and adapt that training to that each particular party.
Okay, so as far as keeping it simple, I mean, keep it simple, stupid. That's like really good life advice in general, but definitely applies to creating an offer and a solution to a problem. So I think you guys are right on point there. So when EcoSmart Solution started and you were figuring this out, like what was the process like? Like how easy was it to do that instead of just saying that that's what you were going to do?
There is no easy, right?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm getting at.
the I think it's a lot of the try it, right? You have to have somebody who's willing to dive in and try it. And um, one of my investors is the company that actually started the retrofit part of the business, Taurus Investment Holdings. They wanted to do something different with real estate. So whenever I left the utility and went to join Taurus internally to stand up the retrofit business, they understood it wasn't going to be easy, but they were willing to make the investment in the process and bring the team to figure it out. And I left Southern Company at the end of February 2020 and joined the real estate firm March 1st of 2020. So that was a very different
Interesting timing. Yeah.
in real estate. But the good thing about it is it gave us a lot of time to explore. So everybody's sitting at home, everybody's getting used to the new work style, but it gave us a lot of time to connect and think about how you take a 400 unit multifamily property and go through a complete energy retrofit without displacing any tenants. And that's a very complicated process, but it allowed us to think through the business model, think through the financial modeling, think through the construction implementation, and really build out the team the proper way and create some really unique IP that we have to be able to implement those types of solutions because we have the time to think about it and find ways to make mistakes and correct quickly and then
Fail
keep
quickly. Yeah.
it's
Yeah. So, keep going.
you know
Sorry.
It's not so much, I think, fail quickly, but it's really correct quickly because there's always
Yeah,
things that you can adapt, right? And there's learning. So I don't ever see it as a failure. I think it's a learning, and you want to
same.
pivot and keep moving.
Yeah, and it's you have to be willing to dive in to get the data in the first place, and then as soon as the data is speaking, you pivot as needed.
You react, absolutely.
So where are you now? Tell us about what day-to-day business is looking like, and kind of what your main solutions are for your
Yeah.
target market.
So our name is EcoSmart Solution, right? And it's singular for a reason because we think that there is a solution right for you as a customer, right? There, anyone can bring a wad of solutions to you and say, here, pick one. But the reality is you have unique financial circumstances, you have unique technology needs, you have unique customers or unique residents, tenants, whatever it may be. And so it's about designing what fits for your building or your solution. So we work with developers of brand new construction, greenfield developments that are developing single family communities or multifamily communities. And we design, install, own, maintain geothermal infrastructure. So geothermal heating and cooling is a way to use the ground as a large thermal battery and connect it with your HVAC system so that your HVAC doesn't see the wild swings of outdoor temperature. It sees the much more stable ground temperature, and it's much more efficient. The historical problem is that it's very expensive to do on a house by house basis.
Yeah.
So we install all of that infrastructure up front for the developer and have it easily accessible for the builders or the multifamily developer to connect to our infrastructure so that they have a turnkey geothermal system. So that reduces the cost about 50%. And it maintains the operating efficiency and really changes the ability of scale. It changes the ability to scale geothermal efficiency, which has historically been very expensive. And then we work with existing property owners to implement full turnkey retrofits of their properties, whether it be a multifamily property, assisted living, office buildings, industrial. But our prime focus are those large residences like multifamily buildings of all different sizes, like assisted living centers, student housing, etc., where you have a lot of residents inside of a building. And we design bespoke solutions for that building to reduce its carbon footprint, increase its efficiency, increase net operating income for that particular property, and design that turnkey package that includes everything from water efficiency, envelope improvements, mechanical improvements, and renewable energy systems. And it takes advantage of the local market energy pricing, the local incentives, federal grants, etc. And we bring that together as a package solution. So again, it's a different need for brand new construction versus existing buildings, but the whole goal is to combine financial acumen with construction expertise and engineering expertise to provide value to real estate developers and owners.
Yeah, beautiful. So it really does sound like you have a simplified offer that people are needing. Right now in 2025, are people coming to you for more, independence from the grid, cost savings, or like what do those initial inquiries look like for you?
Yeah, it's a range of different needs. So we have institutional real estate owner clients who are still very concerned about sustainability. They have a very long-term view of carbon, and they are concerned about the carbon footprint of a property. We have other owners that are simply interested in increasing their net operating income, reducing their expenses, reducing their maintenance cost, and that is all they're concerned about, and that's okay too, right?
Yeah.
It still helps reduce the energy footprint of the built environment. And then we have customers that are interested in new technology, right? And so the inquiries and the outreach comes from one of those three, but at the end of the day, the message is very similar. We're trying to find a way to implement energy efficient solutions to increase comfort, reduce expenses, and increase the value of your real estate, whether that be your house or your multifamily property. And when we can do that, the message resonates and people listen. So we might not have the same tailwinds that we had from
Sure.
federal incentives and from sustainability focus and a focus on clean energy, but we are focused on energy affordability, and we're focused on overall affordability, which resonates regardless of who you are.
Agreed. Yeah, I see this over and over again in different sectors of, energy. So, so what does that growth moment look like for you guys? Like, what are sometimes right now asking what the challenge of the moment is, I want to say, and just let's not talk about politics, but politics aside, what's the current challenge for you guys?
Yeah, I think quite honestly, the current challenge on the single family side is interest rates. Our interest rates are not historically high. They are recent historically high.
Right.
If you look over the long term, our interest rates are still relatively low, but people are used to seeing 0% Fed
2 to
rates,
3%. Yeah.
0% base rates, which yields a 2.5%, 3%, maybe a little bit higher mortgage. And when you've had a taste of that, it's very difficult to come away from it. Now, it's not just homeowners, right? Because
Yeah.
if we saw a 100 basis point drop in the Fed rate, we would see a tremendous amount of activity in the new home market, which means it would spawn new developments.
Yep.
It would spawn developers to think about what is now my differentiator from an energy standpoint, to think differently about developing. But it would also spawn any other type of real estate activity. So you would have trading of multifamily properties, which means that you have different firms looking at how to get a competitive edge in a new multifamily property.
Right.
In an existing multifamily property, and they would think about energy differently, and it would enable us to have that deeper conversation. I think right now you've got a lot of real estate firms that are either sitting on the sidelines waiting for the market to change because they know it will, or they're trying to cope with rising interest rates and rising mortgage payments in order to keep their property solvent.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing how much a little change in just the financial markets impact the real estate market. So in general, that's what we're seeing. But we're not just standing still. We're trying to react to that and respond by bringing unique financing solutions to energy deals and energy projects, so that we can then offer that turnkey solution to the multifamily owner or to the assisted living owner who needs the energy improvements, who can underwrite the improvements and really see a return on it, but maybe they can't go access the capital right now, or they can't source a mezzanine loan. So we're looking to create some unique financing opportunities around that.
That sounds hard to do. Like, I'm curious about that process.
It's it might be difficult to do, but it's really about bringing the right minds together. So when I mention EcoSmart combines engineering expertise with construction expertise and financing expertise, it's because that's really what we see as the key to overcoming the barriers of any large energy project, right? At
Absolutely.
the heart of it, we're a
Yeah.
green energy services provider, but if you don't have a proper team that can implement it on time and on budget, or have someone that understands how you're actually going to pay for it, the middle piece of the technology and the engineering part of it just falls apart. Right?
Totally.
So we've built a team that has access to capital markets and has an understanding of how to monetize different types of incentives, and we pair that with our technical team as we're going through the underwriting of a project. And we're going through the trade-offs or the what-ifs of, okay, well, if I implement this high-efficiency solution, it's going to cost X, but it's going to save Y. Now, how can we continue to get a better return for that? And then on the construction side, we're constantly thinking through how can we reduce the cost of construction, or what is the cost going to be, and where are the trade-offs. So when you combine team members like that, it gives you a way to give a holistic project offering to a customer, or to take that project offering to a bank to say, look, we've thought about the end-to-end project, and this is why you should provide a construction loan or permanent debt or anything like that.
Yeah. That's such a holistic way of viewing it. It's like you're looking at all the problems A to Z that your potential customer has, and you're finding ways to solve that. It's like maybe you're having to have more partnerships because of it. And maybe it's not as simple for you, but it makes the whole process easier and more simple for them, which is what we
That is
want.
absolutely the key. You want to get to the easy yes, right? Think
Absolutely.
when you're talking to your customer, you want to put yourself in their shoes. Think about what questions they're going to ask and what questions they're going to get asked by their investment committee or their board. And you want to have the answers, and you want to have at least well thought out responses and solutions to hand them, so that they can say, oh, okay, I'm now comfortable that you've thought about all this, and now I can take this forward and be your champion, because it always takes a champion internal as well.
Totally. And it's not just we've thought about this, like this is what we've done for our other customers. This is how it worked. And yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's interesting the way any industry wants to know who's done it before or how has it been done before. I don't want to be the first guinea pig, right? And so it
Sure.
always takes those people willing to step out and willing to do something different to change the industry.
Yeah, agreed. Well, what's next for you guys? Like what kind of growth goals do you have within the next year?
I I have a growth goal to build out our retrofit financing business, to build out our footprint of master plan communities served by geothermal, and to expand our team. I think we are getting ready for the growth that's going to occur over the next 12 months when the financial markets change. And so I'm
Yeah,
already thinking about how am I going to make sure to bring people in at the right time that can help us scale. And so we are really gearing up for the scale that's going to come from the changing financial markets.
very cool. If you could preemptively solve a problem that could maybe match, something in that process over the next year, if you could make sure that something was going to go right, what would be the thing?
I would think it would be have a plan around the interest rate reductions. If I could forecast exactly what those reductions were going to be, I mean, it would help every single real estate firm. It would help every one of my customers, and it would help them plan. It doesn't mean they would wait until they're at their bottom, but it would help them plan their underwriting and plan their business plans a lot more firmly.
I mean, it's true. Like if I knew there was a change coming within the next 3 months, I would you plan everything around that. So
If a homeowner knew that they could put a contract on a house now, and by the time they're locking their mortgage 3 months from now or 6 months from now for a new construction, then that would completely change the market.
it would. And because we can't predict the future, I am never moving. Just kidding.
I think we're both in that same boat.
I am stuck here forever. No, we got into our house in 2021. So it was when interest rates were still low. Costs were high, but interest. So I'm like, we got the golden handcuffs, as they say.
Well, I got into my house, so I told you I left a long-term career of 2020. March 1st, I started a new job. By mid-March, the world was shut down. I moved into a new house on March 13th,
Crazy.
and my wife lost her job on March 30th.
My gosh.
But well, she was in the hospitality industry, and so it was a very quick downturn for them. But I tell people it was one of the best remainders of that year of my life, because I got to spend time in a new exciting house in a new neighborhood and get to know my neighbors. I got to
Yeah.
spend a tremendous amount of time with my wife, and I got to explore and have some time to think about a new business. So it really was exciting.
Yeah. I don't normally share too much, but like we had a similar thing happen. I was pregnant with my last child, so of course. And then my husband's hours got cut at his work, and I had an in-person business, so that died and partially moved online. So it was a crazy year, but it actually ended up being amazing because like my husband was able to be there when my son was born more than he would have before, and he was able to like take care of us all. And he was able to still leave the house some, so we didn't want to kill each other. It's actually kind of nice. And then we moved a year later. But anyway.
Yeah, it was a funny time, but I look back on it positively. I try to find the positive in situations. And
yeah, I mean, not to diminish, like, of course, like many awful things happen and people died, but like I am grateful for a lot of the results that have come from it and just the restructuring of how we work. Like,
right.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you so much. You speak so well as exactly what you do and who you serve and what the solution is. Is there anything else you want to add for people who might want to get in touch, or kind of a final note?
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, please reach out at EcoSmartSolution.com. We'd be happy to engage with you any way we can.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and best of luck as you scale it up this year.
Thank you so much, Megan. I appreciate you.
Thanks for tuning in to Green Disruptors. If you enjoyed this conversation with Chris Gray, make sure to check out EcoSmartSolution.com to learn how they're transforming buildings into smarter, more efficient spaces. Don't forget to subscribe to Green Disruptors wherever you listen to podcasts. And join us next time as we talk to more leaders driving the future of clean energy and sustainability.